It wasn't just a battle, it was the turning point that gave birth to British rule in India. On a muddy field in Bengal, in 1757, betrayal, not bravery, decided the fate of a subcontinent. This is the true story of the Battle of Plassey, where gold bought power and an empire was born. In the early 1600s, the British East India Company arrived in India, not as conquerors, but as traders. They came for spices, silk, and profits. Over time, they built fortified trading posts across Bengal, especially in Calcutta. But they weren't the only ones eyeing India's riches. The French East India Company was also growing in power, and in Bengal, the young Nawab Siraj-ud-Daulah had inherited the throne, and he wasn't happy with the growing foreign presence. Siraj saw the British as a threat. They were fortifying Calcutta without permission and interfering in politics. To make matters worse, the French began secretly encouraging Siraj to attack the British, hoping to weaken their main European rival. Tensions exploded when Siraj marched into Calcutta and captured Fort William. The British retaliated swiftly, and their commander, Robert Clive, saw an opportunity to not just strike back, but to take control of Bengal itself. The Battle of Plassey was fought on June 23, 1757, near the village of Plassey, beside the Bhagirathi River. On one side stood Siraj-ud-Daulah, with around 50,000 troops, including cavalry, infantry, and artillery. On the other, Robert Clive's army of just 3,000, a mix of British soldiers and Indian sepoys. But numbers don't always win wars, because Clive had a secret weapon, Mir Jafar. Mir Jafar was one of Siraj's top generals, but he had been promised the throne of Bengal by the British in exchange for betrayal. As the battle began under monsoon skies, Siraj's cannons thundered, but Mir Jafar and his 20,000 men stood still, watching. Clive's men held their ground. As hours passed, confusion spread through Siraj's ranks. Orders were unclear. Morale was crumbling. And Mir Jafar? Still no movement. Finally, Clive launched a counterattack. With no support from Mir Jafar, Siraj's forces collapsed. The Nawab fled the battlefield, only to be captured and executed days later. The British East India Company emerged victorious, not just in battle, but in politics. Mir Jafar became the puppet Nawab. The company secured massive wealth, land, and power. Plassey was more than a military victory. It was the beginning of 200 years of British rule in India, and it all started with a deal made in the shadows.